Welcome to the first early release day of 2014-15 school year. Today I'll be highlighting some important deadlines, give you a quick review of how to write your SLO, and remind you of what to expect in the next 2 months. First, it's trivia time. Everyone get out your pencils and paper and see what you remember. What does EEP stand for? Answer: Educator Effectiveness Plan. Remember that your EEP is the name of the entire document that you are creating in Teachscape each year to show your own personal growth and the growth of your students. There are 2 main parts to your EEP that are due by October 16th. What are they? Answer: your SLO or Student Learning Outcome and your PPG or your Professional Practice Goal. Next question: when is your baseline data due? Hopefully all of you got this answer right. It is today. The only exception is for the teams that talked to me previously. Teams that could have an extension would be staff that don't meet with their students on a regular basis. For example, only once a week. After you finish writing your SLO and PPG, you need to input that information into Teachscape. And when is that due? Answer: the end of the October 16th early release day. You will have time today to work on those tasks, and if you need more time, you can use the October 16th early release day as well. Side note: this year we are bringing back the October early release day that had been lost due to the all-day parent-teacher conference. Teams will need to meet the morning before parent-teacher conference for 90 minutes. Some teams have asked to meet on another day. This is acceptable. However, there are conditions that must be met in order for your team to meet on a different day. Number 1, your entire team must be able to attend the new date. Number 2, the date you pick must be after October 13th or 14th, so that your PLC point person has time to learn what is expected for that day. Number 3, your PLC team meeting must be completed by October 30th, 2 weeks after the scheduled October 16th early release day. You must meet for at least 90 minutes, or at most, twice for 45 minutes. And finally, you must email your principal and myself your new date and time. Although we are providing flexibility for the October 16th early release day, the deadline to complete your SLO and PPG will remain the same, October 16th. The reason for this deadline is to provide time for principals to meet with all their staff members who are up for evaluation this year. Principals cannot schedule a meeting with you until your PPG and SLO are inputted, but must complete the meeting by October 30th. So let's recap. Can your team meet on a date other than October 16th? The answer is yes, but with certain conditions, including having your SLO and PPG completed by October 16th. Last question, and I've left the hardest one for last. Name all of the required state tests or screeners given this fall throughout the district. Remember that most state tests have a special education version. Try to name those as well. Answer: pre-kindergarten through 2nd grade will be giving the screener called the PALS test. The WKCE is still alive in the areas of social studies and science, but only for grades 4, 8, and 10. And this also includes the Wisconsin Alternative Assessment for students in 4, 8, and 10. The new ACT Aspire will be given to all 9th graders in October. For students with severe disabilities, the Dynamic Learning Maps, or DLM, will be given. This fall will be a dry run for the spring, when our state tests will increase to all grades pre-kindergarten through 11th. 12th grade is the only grade not tested this year. For today, your team has 3 main tasks. First, review your baseline data. Secondly, work on your SLO and PPG, If you need more time, you can finish them on October 16th. And third, select your second assessment that should be given before October 16th. If you finish early, continue working on your 5-year goal or any other curricular goal that your team might have. Caution, stumbling blocks ahead. When logging onto Teachscape, make sure the screen does not say Secure Login. There are 2 login screens, and that is the wrong one. Use the ee.dpi.wi.gov site for the correct login area. If you are working in Teachscape and you need to exit before your work is done, click on Save and Finish Later. When you are done completely and you want your administrator to review your work, click Submit. If you have already hit Submit by accident, contact the administrator that is listed as your evaluator, and he or she can return your work to you. When you are writing your PPG, remember that this can be an individual goal, even if you're writing a team SLO. Also, when you're writing your professional practice goal, make sure you include a Danielson component. There are 22 components. For example, one component may be communicating with students. Another example would be reflecting on teaching. You should select a component based on your self-evaluation. Finally, the more specific you are now, the easier it will be in May when you have to evaluate yourself. For example, you might want to include a rubric with your SLO. Here's an example of a rubric. Decide now what it looks like if you exceed or meet your SLO goal. The first task that you will be completing today is analyzing your baseline data. This process is exactly like last year. Remember that you want to have performance criteria. What does an A look like or a C look like? Then you will tally up the number of students who performed at each of those performance levels. For example, you may have 3 A's or 7 B's. Finally, you will write a target goal for each group of students. You may want to group kids into categories. For example, students who received a D or F would be considered below the benchmark, and the students in the B and A range would be above the benchmark. At the elementary level, you could group your N's and I's and your B's and E's. After the October 16th early release day, if you are up for evaluation this year, your principal will be contacting you through your Teachscape account to schedule your fall meeting. This meeting will be used to review your SLO and your PPG. If you are not up for evaluation, you are not required to have your SLO or PPG reviewed. However, if you want to have it reviewed, I will be offering voluntary meetings that you can sign up for. These dates and times will be available on or before October 16th. One reason you may want to have your SLO or PPG reviewed is that when you are up for evaluation next year or the following year, all of your SLOs will be evaluated, so you may want to be reassured that you're on the right track. Finally today, thank you to every team that submitted an acronym challenge project. There were many great and wonderful ideas created. The winner with 27% of the vote is Dominoes Fall Down, submitted by the Wilson Reading Team. Second place was Football Plays with 24% of the vote submitted by the high school special ed team. And in third place, submitted by the high school math team, was Educational Acronym Rap with 20% of the vote. Great job, everyone!